I just spoke with Sue Gordon. She's the curator for Kinney Gardens, and this garden was established in 1956. Just above the stone, we see a fingerleaf Japanese maple, one of my favorite plants of all time. And of course it's winter time. Matter of fact, it's only the second day of winter, and of course this place is ablaze with color in the springtime. But Mr. Kinney, I guess, did all his cuttings in the wintertime. He developed a lot of different varieties, and I can see we have some lichen. These are old plants that is growing on the azaleas this year, because we had a wet season, a wet fall, and it's laid out beautifully. It's 15 acres of mostly azaleas, but as you can see, it's plenty of arborvitae here. We have some umbrella pine to my left over here. We'll get to it. There's a shot of the moon bridge. We'll get a close-up of that later. And the PJM have a beautiful color in the fall. They turn that dark red, and as you can see, they're showing their buds. And I expect they'll have plenty of flowers next springtime. Some people put azalea and rhododendron in the same genus now, but I prefer to keep them separate, because I'm old school. We have some juniper here, hemlock. The Japanese azaleas are a favorite of Kinney. He founded these gardens, as we said, in 1956. Some 55 years ago. And again, he liked the Japanese type azaleas, and he had many that he developed himself. And the public is admitted free. They will dig up, just as they would at a nursery, like I did when I was a kid, plants for you. You'd come in and pick out an azalea, tag it, they'd dig it up for you, and Dr. Sue Gordon and some of her help will accommodate you by telling you when you can come back and pick up your azalea. Now, of course, they have some other plants besides azaleas, which are basically good background material. Nice lawn areas, nice open areas, nice paths. As you might expect, it's kind of wet. That's where azaleas do their best, in moist, shady areas, particularly the northern azalea. Here we have the umbrella pine, which is scattered throughout 15 acres in key locations. And I remember this from my youth, but it's rare to see them this big. This one stands some 30 feet, and we have some boxwood in this particular area. I got some great names for the paths here. I think they're reluctant to spray. I want to keep it natural, quote unquote. And I suspect that, because the lichen does no harm, but doesn't help. Because we see a lot of that because of the wet weather that we've had. Here you see the boxwood. Good size, healthy looking boxwood. This one has to be a good 10-12 feet across, good 7-8 feet tall. Here behind it we have some laurel, mountain laurel. It's quite abundant. It grows in the woods in southern New England. Here again we see some upright, probably Schleppenbachii or Malus azalea. Can't remember which. They're basically yellow and orange. This one is called Klondike. Upright, beautiful azaleas. Deciduous. They don't hold the leaf like many of the Japanese through the winter. And here we see some more laurel. That looks like a cross, this particular laurel, between laurel rhododendron, might be Wilson's, and that could be PJM, but this whole area is quote-unquote deciduous azaleas. And I have a feeling this is Wilson, or Wilsoni, the Latin, and the cross between azalea / rhododendron and laurel. And amongst the deciduous azalea, here we have Japanese andromeda with nice pink flower. It's one of the earliest blooming plants in the springtime in the Northeast. And what I like about it in particular is that Japanese andromeda blooms with a nice cluster of white little flowers, but it comes out with the red and it new growth, that is, and it fades to an orange, then to a yellow, and then you have the green. Here we are fortunate to see those color combinations, not as brilliant as it would be in the springtime. Over here we have a lot of rhododendron that are native to Rhode Island, where Kinney Gardens is, are usually big, large, purple. We call them maxim azaleas, a large leaf, and they bloom primarily purple. This may be an Amena azalea, Amena being a small leaf, sort of a purplish red flower, and they get quite large in their old age, and these plants I'm guessing would be about 50 years old. Those two Amenas, that is, and there's again a small leaf azalea that holds its flower, holds its leaf in the wintertime. And here we see probably a white, judging by the cast, and they're setting the buds, this particular rhododendron, setting the buds for the springtime. And we see some fern, which does so well in the shade. And the moon bridge, we got a good close-up of it here. This moon bridge, of course, is not easy to build, as you can imagine. It's quite common in Japanese gardens. Here we have an open area. They are going to develop this other part. I understand there's another few acres back here that will be planted. I think Dr. Gordon will need some extra help, if I say so myself. They're doing a little clearing in here now, and I expect perhaps over the next 5 years they'll bring in more azaleas. Here we see some ilex and the Kothaway. It's got a smell in the springtime. It smells like bread when it blooms. But of course, arborvitae, you'll see a lot of it in Canada growing in open fields. It's a Native American plant. And of course we have swamp azalea in New England, which can, I assume, be a good plant to cross with the Japanese varieties. Walking back toward the house, and of course that rock that we saw in the beginning is up in the front, just beyond that house that we see in the distance. Now the nursery is to my left, and we'll walk down that way. The older trees will never be dug out, I don't think, unless they die. But here we see some old hemlock. I guess this was a grove here at one time, and we see a plant over there that's been dug up for purchase, and these are certainly good sized hemlock. Yeah, there's a few here that are dug up that will probably go to somebody's house. Nurseryman's work is never done. And we see the umbrella pine here, the arborvitae. It's a good time to visit. Nobody's here except Dr. Gordon and a couple of her student helpers at the University of Rhode Island. Here we see a bunch of other plants, and I assume her dog, who greeted me warmly when I came in. Here, good dog. Yeah, you want to be on TV, huh? Good doggy. Yeah. Camera shy, huh? Just like Dr. Gordon. Yeah.